What's up, poker players? Hope you guys are out there crushing it on the tables. Look at this graph. Just a casual 8 buy-in swing. Nearly $500 session. We got in a lot of interesting spots. Let's jump right into the hands. First hand we're going to take a look at is at the 200 NL table. We have Ace Queen playing from the small blind. Table looks like it is mostly regulars. We've got a couple recreational players in there. But we get an open from the cutoff to 2.5x from Vegetables Aren't Yummy. A massive volume regular. And we get a call from the button. Steph Curry, also a big volume regular. I'm going to be putting in a 3-bet here. Putting on the squeeze play. Make it 20 to go. 4x the original open, and we get a call from the big blind. Vegetables Aren't Yummy gets out of the way, and Steph Curry also calls. There's $65 in the pot pre-flop, and we are playing out of position against both of these players. Flop is queen high, monotone, all hearts. Stacks are pretty deep. Both players have larger stacks than us. I just checked back on the flop, and it checks all the way around. The turn is the 4 of clubs, and this time I lead out for $34, and we get a call from the big blind and see a river. River is the 10 of diamonds, most likely not going to improve many hands. So I lead out, trying to get some thin value. I think we could get a pair less than the queens to make a call here. I think we are going to be up against a lot of flush draws that missed, which could justify checking, but our opponent has a very low bet percentage on the river and is probably only going to be betting value hands and not putting in many bluffs. So I took this line of betting into our opponent, trying to get a call from small pairs that might also have a heart in them, and we're chasing that and might decide to make a call here with just a pair in a $181 pot with just a $48 bet. And we do get a call, and we take down this pot of $226. We do not know what our opponent had, but most likely a pair less than the queens, and we pick up some great value with this hand. Still at the 200 NL, we have Ace King now from the small blind as well. We get a bet from the cutoff to 2.5x again, and again we are putting in a 3-bet from the small blind, and once again we get called from the big blind and the cutoff. There is now $54 in the pot, and flop is ace high, 2-tone, 2 hearts out there. We're on that heart draw once again, and we flop top pair, top kicker. SC King is a recreational player, only 11 hands on this player, very high VPIP, pretty fishy numbers so far, but a very small sample size. And be about it, we do not have many hands on, only 173, but has played pretty solid over that sample size. I check back, and it checks all the way around. This is like deja vu, where it's playing out exactly the same. The turn is the 2 of diamonds, not going to be improving many hands. If there were the possibility of a 5-4 suited in one of these players' ranges, that got there, but that's really about it. And I lead out for a little bit larger than half pot, $28. We get a raise from the big blind, and because this is a recreational player and has pretty fishy numbers so far, I think we can easily get our chips in with top pair, top kicker. So I jam the rest in, and we do get a call from ace 10, just have to avoid a 10 on the river, and it is a 4, and we take down this pot of over $240, and now we are at the 100 NL table. We have king, queen suited, playing from the small blind. All these hands are coming from the small blind today. Not really sure how it worked out that way, but it did, and we get a min raise open from the button. I decide to just make a call, and we see a flop of king high, 2-tone, 2 hearts out there. Again, we were on the heart draw. Check back the flop. Starting to see a pattern here, you guys. And our opponent bets half pot. I put in a raise this time because I see that our opponent does not fold very often to flop raises, and we're going to be getting a lot of value from the draws that could be out there in our opponent's range, and we do get a call. Turn is the 10 of clubs. There are a couple hands out there that the 10 improves. Jack 9 of hearts, any ace jack, but that is only a small portion of our opponent's range. So I'm leading out assuming that our opponent is still on a draw or has a hand like ace king, king jack, possibly king 10, and our opponent jams all in. I think this is a pretty easy call with top 2, so I do make the call here, and the river is the 3 of diamonds, and we take down this pot of almost $200. What do you guys think our opponent had? Leave your guesses down in the comments section. I'm going to be posting the answer on Twitter or Facebook, so head down to the video description and click the links to either Facebook or Twitter to see what our opponent had throughout this hand. And make sure you follow on Twitter and like on Facebook as well. I thought this was a pretty interesting hand. This was right at the end of the session. You can see it was at 3:20 in the morning, late one last night. I open up with Ace King under the gun. We are playing a little bit short-handed, only 7 players dealt into this hand at the 50 NL table. And we get a call from the big blind, who is pretty recreational, plays a lot of hands, calls a lot of hands, high VPIP, pretty high aggression, and we are playing deep stacked, starting out with 125 big blinds in the effective stack. Flop again has 2 hearts on it, 10 high this time. Big blind checks, and we check back as well. Turn is the money card. There's our king. We have top pair, top kicker. Big blind bets 1/3 pot into us, and I put in a 3x re-raise, and we get a call. The river is the ace of diamonds. Queen jack got there, but that is literally it. And we can make the assumption that our opponent probably had either a 10, a king, or some kind of draw. And the only draw that got there is queen jack, which could be in our opponent's range. They check back, and I put in a value bet 2/3 pot. And our opponent raises over 4x our bet. Bets over the pot into us. So what is the story this player is trying to tell us? That they have queen jack. It's possible leading out the turn, 1/3 pot size bet with a queen jack, calling a small raise on the turn, hoping that you hit a 9 or an ace on the river, and then check raising the river. Very possible, but again, that is a very small portion of our opponent's range, and we see players like this just randomly throwing out a river bluff. This is kind of a weird spot to put it in, but it's going to work against a lot of hands that are in my range as well, so it's not necessarily a terrible play. I think you can get away with a smaller bet sizing than this, because a lot of the draws within my range that missed are just going to be folding. I'm going to fold probably a lot of kings when the raise comes in, so I do make the call, and we see that our opponent had a pair of kings with the flush draw that missed. That was a very interesting line, but thank you for turning your showdown value hand into a bluff on the river and giving us an extra 25 bucks. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you guys have not done that yet. Head down to the video description for links to all the poker products that I use, including Hold'em Manager. If you click the link below, you can get a 1-month free trial of Hold'em Manager. I use it every day. Highly recommend that product. Also in the video description, click those links for the social media websites and find out what our opponent had on that hidden hand. If you have any comments or questions, leave those in the comment section below, and I will be back soon with a new video. But until then, I'll see you guys out on the virtual felt.